Now to the death of wrestling icon Hulk Hogan, who rocketed to fame in the 1980s, in the ring transforming the wrestling industry, then appearing in the movies, in recent years taking a political stand.
The FBI just stormed Hulk Hogan's Florida mansion, and what they uncovered has left fans, agents, and the media completely stunned. While the world was still mourning the loss of the wrestling icon, headlines took a dark turn. Not about his legacy, but about that infamous 2012 tape scandal. Now, federal agents have launched a full-scale raid, and insiders say Hogan may have been hiding something. Something he never wanted the world to see. What did the FBI find inside his home? And could it be connected to the scandal that nearly ended his career? What they found inside may change everything we thought we knew about Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan's passing and suspicious autopsy results. When Hulk Hogan collapsed at his Florida home on July 24, paramedics rushed him to the hospital. But it was too late. The wrestling legend who had body-slammed Andre the Giant in front of 93,000 screaming fans was gone. According to the official reports, he had a heart attack. But what happened next didn't feel right to anyone paying attention. On his death certificate, under medical examiner case number, it said not applicable. That's bureaucratic speak for something very important. The county medical examiner never touched this case. For a celebrity passing, especially one involving someone as high profile as Hulk Hogan, that's almost unheard of. Instead, one man signed off on everything, and that man was Dr. Gerald Joseph Fitzgerald Jr., Hogan's private physician. No one conducted any autopsy or any toxicology report. There wasn't even an independent investigation, just a doctor's signature declaring it a natural death from acute myocardial infarction, and that was the end of it. Think about that for a moment. When Michael Jackson collapsed, there were immediate autopsies, toxicology reports, and a full investigation that lasted months. When Prince was found unresponsive, the medical examiner's office took over within hours. But when one of the most famous wrestlers in history passed suddenly at home, somehow the system just stepped aside. The official story tells us that this was a man whose body had simply given out. Hogan had been battling serious health problems for years. He had just recovered from his second major neck surgery in May, which had led to complications including fluid overload and kidney problems. His breathing was compromised by severe COPD from decades of wear and tear. But even sick people usually get autopsies when they die unexpectedly at home. Wrestling journalist Dave Meltzer reported that Hogan had been in and out of hospitals for months. And according to people close to the situation, Hogan had been doing better in recent weeks. He was going through rehab, staying active, and making public appearances. His new wife had been posting positive updates about his recovery on social media. So why the sudden collapse? And more importantly, why the rush to close the case? The lack of transparency has created a perfect storm for conspiracy theories. Some believe Hogan may have suffered a medication-related complication. With his history of painkiller use, there was always a risk of dangerous interactions. But without a toxicology report, there is no way to know what was actually in his system when he passed away. Others point to the speed with which everything was handled. The passing was certified quickly and quietly, followed by an immediate cremation that destroyed any possibility of future examination. For someone who had spent decades in the spotlight, it felt like an unusually private ending. Even the TMZ footage of paramedics at Hogan's mansion raises questions. The video shows what appears to be a routine medical emergency response, but it's what happened behind closed doors that remains unclear. Emergency responders were on scene for over an hour before transporting him to the hospital, where he was pronounced gone shortly after arrival. The whole situation feels orchestrated in a way that celebrity deaths usually aren't. There is typically more chaos, more investigation, and more public scrutiny. But Hogan's passing was handled with surgical precision. It was documented, certified, and closed before anyone could ask uncomfortable questions. All of this has led many to believe that Hogan's sudden demise was not random timing. They think it connects back to his 2012 scandal. So what exactly happened nearly 13 years ago that was still chasing Hulk Hogan all the way to his grave? The 2012 scandal, Hogan never escaped. It all began in 2012. That year, an edited version of a private recording involving Hulk Hogan was published by the media site Gawker. This illicit video showed Hogan with Heather Clem, the then wife of his best friend. The video shocked Jock Bubba, the love sponge. The betrayal alone was enough to make headlines. But it wasn't the act that shocked the world. It was what Hogan said. He didn't know at that time that the camera was still rolling after the encounter. In the private, supposedly off-camera conversation that followed, Hogan was caught making blatantly racist remarks about his daughter, Brooke's dating life. Once the full transcript surfaced, it was devastating. Publicly, Hogan tried to apologize, but the damage was immediate and severe. The WWE terminated its contract with Hogan. They removed him from their website, merchandise, and even the Hall of Fame section. He was blacklisted overnight. Sponsorships evaporated. Public goodwill was gone. And all of it stemmed from a tape that was recorded without his consent and leaked against his will. After that came one of the most expensive, high-profile lawsuits in internet history. Hogan sued Gawker Media for invasion of privacy. He filed a civil suit in a Florida court. But the case quickly escalated far beyond a standard celebrity tabloid feud. It was because Hogan was fighting to prove that his constitutional right to privacy had been violated. And he had one very powerful man in his corner, Peter Thiel. Thiel, the billionaire co-founder of PayPal and early investor in Facebook, secretly funded Hogan's legal team. It was because years earlier, Gawker had outed Thiel as gay without his permission. The Hogan case became Thiel's revenge, and Hogan became the vessel. In court, Hogan's attorneys argued that the tape had caused emotional and professional devastation. They emphasized that Hogan, the wrestling persona, was not the same as Terry Bollea, the private individual. His legal team even made the now infamous claim that Hulk Hogan has a 10-inch penis, but Terry Bollea does not. The media ate it up, but behind the spectacle was a serious battle over privacy and the limits of free speech. In 2016, the court sided with Hogan. A jury awarded him $140 million in damages, $115 million in compensatory damages, and another $25 million in punitive damages. The verdict shocked the digital publishing world. It ultimately bankrupted Gawker, which sold off its assets and shut down operations. But the shocking thing is that during the trial, it was revealed that multiple versions of the tape existed. Not just the one published, not just the extended version with the racist remarks. There were reportedly 3 other tapes, all seized by Hogan's legal team, some sealed under court order. And that's when the rumors really began. Theories about hidden tapes and FBI raid. Some sources close to the case claimed that these tapes contained far more than just offensive language or illicit acts. Allegedly, off-camera conversations involved other individuals, mentions of celebrities, comments about executives, possibly even content that could be viewed as blackmail material. None of that was ever made public, but several insiders suggested that not all of the tapes were destroyed. One former employee of Gawker even claimed that a full hard drive containing digital backups had disappeared during the bankruptcy transition. Another claimed Hogan himself had requested copies to be returned to him personally, outside of the court's official transfer. This detail has become key in recent years, especially in light of Hogan's passing. Because if those tapes still existed, the contents could still pose a threat to certain people. Not just Hogan's legacy, but possibly others linked to the scandal. Some theorists believe that's exactly why Hogan never went public with the rest. He allegedly kept a private vault with files, photos, and documents, material that could be used as insurance. One person who knew Hogan during that time said he was paranoid, but smart. He knew things, and he kept copies. There has never been confirmation of what was on those drives, but according to one 2018 lawsuit filed by a former associate, Hogan had in his possession external hard drives and unreleased footage that he refused to destroy. They called it protection. That case was later dismissed and the records sealed. This paranoia wasn't new. Hogan had already faced years of betrayal, lawsuits, and media manipulation. The 2012 scandal made him more guarded than ever. Friends said he stopped trusting people. He stopped talking about the case, but he never stopped being afraid of what might come out next. And some believe that's exactly what triggered recent attention from federal authorities. Following his passing, online forums exploded with speculation. Some users pointed to past court records that mentioned sealed tapes. Others dug through bankruptcy filings from Gawker, looking for evidence that Hogan had taken possession of backup drives. A few even claimed that Hogan's 2012 legal team had flagged sensitive files that were never properly logged in evidence lists. And if that's true, if files existed outside the chain of custody, they could still be somewhere. That's where the FBI theory began. While there is no official confirmation that federal agents have raided Hogan's home, multiple forum users claim that unmarked vehicles were seen at his mansion days after his passing. There is no photographic evidence, but the theory keeps spreading that sealed evidence from the 2012 case has resurfaced and that someone in power wants it back before it leaks. Even more extreme theories suggest that WWE executives were aware of the tape's full contents and may have been involved in keeping them buried. Some say Hulk Hogan's sudden removal from WWE in 2015, after the racist audio surfaced, was not just a public relations decision. It was a fast and calculated purge, one that allowed the company to sever ties before anything worse could come out. According to fan theories circulating online, WWE insiders may have had advanced knowledge of what was on the unreleased footage. They claim that the tapes contained alleged references to company figures, backstage politics, and personal threats. The speculation is that if those tapes ever leaked, it could expose more than just Hogan. It could tarnish the WWE brand itself. There is no hard proof of this theory, but in the world of professional wrestling, it is easy to see why fans are suspicious. WWE has a long history of protecting its image, even when the cost is high, and Hogan wasn't the first star whose downfall raised uncomfortable questions about what the company knew and when. Take the case of Jimmy Superfly Snuka. In 1983, Snuka's girlfriend Nancy Argentino was found in a hotel room. She had passed away. For decades, the case remained unsolved, and Snuka kept performing for WWE. It wasn't until 2015 32 years later that authorities reopened the case and charged him with third-degree murder. Critics argued that WWE had helped cover up, or at least ignored, key details for years. Then there is the tragedy of Chris Benoit, whose 2007 case shook the entire industry. Benoit took the life of his wife and son before his own. It later came out that he had suffered from severe brain trauma. WWE quickly erased his presence from their history, removing him from broadcasts and archives almost overnight. But fans still ask how much the company really knew about his mental state and whether warning signs were ignored. Both cases raise the same suspicion. Maybe WWE always has something to do when a scandal threatens to destroy its image. If history is any guide, they react fast, erase the evidence, and control the narrative. So when Hogan was suddenly erased in 2015, it felt familiar. The company didn't wait for full transcripts, court rulings, or lawsuits. They acted like they were cleaning the house before something bigger hit. Maybe WWE feared what might come next. Some believe Hogan held more than just scandalous tapes. He may have had legal documents, private recordings, or NDA-related files that tied back to internal WWE conversations. If those ever leaked, they wouldn't just damage Hogan, they would shake the company's leadership. Again, none of this has been confirmed, and with Hogan now gone, some think those secrets might finally surface. What do you think? Was there a real conspiracy behind Hogan's tapes and the mystery around his passing, or is it all just a big coincidence? Share your thoughts with us in the comments below. And before you go, make sure to subscribe to our channel for more updates. Goodbye for now.